The moon, our closest celestial neighbor, has captivated humans for millennia with its mysterious presence in the night sky. While we may be familiar with some of its basic characteristics, there are many strange and interesting facts about the moon that are less well known. In this video, we'll delve into the world of lunar facts, and explore some of the most intriguing and unusual aspects of our closest celestial neighbor. From its strange smell to its fascinating history, the moon is full of surprises that are just waiting to be explored. So, if you're ready to expand your knowledge of the moon and learn some surprising facts about this iconic celestial body, read on. 1. The moon is drifting away from Earth. It's true that the moon is slowly drifting away from Earth. This phenomenon is caused by the gravitational interaction between the Earth and the moon, as well as the influence of the sun's gravity. The moon's orbit around the Earth is not a perfect circle, but an elliptical shape. As the moon moves through its orbit, the gravitational pull from the Earth varies, causing the moon to be slightly stretched and compressed. This stretching and compressing generates energy, which causes the moon to slowly gain momentum and move away from the Earth. Additionally, the sun's gravity also plays a role in the moon's movement. As the moon orbits the Earth, the sun's gravitational pull causes the moon's orbit to gradually become more elliptical. This change in orbit also contributes to the moon's gradual movement away from the Earth. While the moon is drifting away from Earth, the process is very slow and is not likely to have any significant impact on our lives. The current rate of recession is approximately 3.8 centimeters per year, which means that it would take millions of years for the moon to move significantly away from the Earth. 2. The moon formed when a Mars-sized celestial body collided with Earth. The leading theory for the formation of the moon is called the giant impact hypothesis. According to this theory, the moon formed approximately 4.5 billion years ago, when a Mars-sized celestial body, often referred to as Theia, collided with the early Earth. The impact was a glancing blow, which caused a large amount of material to be ejected into space from both Theia and the Earth's outer layer. This debris eventually coalesced and formed the moon. The theory explains why the moon is composed of material similar to the Earth's outer layer, as well as why it has a much smaller iron core compared to the Earth. The giant impact hypothesis is widely accepted by scientists as the most likely explanation for the moon's formation. It accounts for the moon's composition, as well as its orbital trajectory and other characteristics. However, there are still some unanswered questions and ongoing research into the details of the impact, and the precise mechanisms that led to the moon's formation. 3. The tides in oceans are not caused by the moon alone. While the gravitational pull of the moon is the primary force responsible for generating tides on Earth, the sun also plays a role. This phenomenon is known as solar tides. The gravitational force exerted by the sun on Earth is about 46% as strong as that of the moon. Although the sun's gravitational pull is weaker, it still contributes to the tidal forces experienced on Earth. When the gravitational forces of the sun and the moon align, such as during full moon and new moon phases, we experience higher high tides and lower low tides, known as spring tides. When the gravitational forces are perpendicular to each other, during the first and third quarter moon phases, the result is lower high tides and higher low tides, known as neap tides. So, while the moon's gravitational pull is the primary driver of tides on Earth, the sun's gravitational force also influences the tide-generating process. 4. There is water on moon. Yes, it's true that there is water on the moon. This discovery has generated a lot of excitement in the scientific community, and has raised many questions about the origins and implications of this finding. The water on the moon is not in the form of liquid water like we have on Earth. Instead, it is found as ice in the moon's polar regions, particularly in the permanently shadowed regions of its craters. This water is believed to have been formed by the impact of comets and asteroids that carried water molecules, which were then trapped in the moon's cold, dry environment. These findings have been confirmed by several missions, including NASA's Lunar Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite, and the Indian Space Research Organization's Chandrayaan-1 mission. The presence of water on the moon has significant implications for future exploration and settlement. Water is a critical resource for human survival, and can also be used for creating rocket fuel and other resources necessary for long-term space travel. Additionally, the presence of water on the moon raises interesting questions about the potential for extraterrestrial life. While the moon is currently considered a barren and inhospitable place, the presence of water opens up the possibility that microbial life could exist in the moon's polar regions. 5. The moon is not perfectly round. While often depicted as a perfect, round sphere in artistic representations, scientific observations reveal that the moon is not perfectly round. Like many celestial bodies, the moon has a slightly irregular shape. The moon's shape is often described as an egg shape, or an oblate spheroid, which means that it is slightly wider than it is tall. This shape is caused by the moon's rotation and the gravitational forces acting on it. The moon's irregular shape has been studied by scientists through a variety of methods, including observations from Earth-based telescopes and measurements taken by lunar orbiters and probes. These studies have helped us to better understand the moon's gravitational field and its interaction with the Earth. While the moon's irregular shape is not readily apparent to the naked eye, it has important implications for our understanding of the moon's formation and evolution, as well as for future exploration and settlement. For example, the moon's gravitational field is influenced by its shape, which can affect the stability of lunar orbits and the behavior of spacecraft and satellites around the moon. 6. The pink moon. The pink moon is a phenomenon that occurs rarely, and is caused by a combination of factors. One of the main causes of a pink moon is the presence of dust or particles in the Earth's atmosphere. When the moon is low in the sky, the light from the moon must pass through more of the Earth's atmosphere, which can cause the light to be scattered and take on a pinkish hue. Another factor that can contribute to a pink moon is the presence of certain types of clouds, such as cirrus clouds, which can also scatter the moon's light and give it a pink appearance. In addition, atmospheric conditions such as the presence of certain gases or particles, or the effects of pollution, can also affect the color of the moon. It's worth noting that the pink moon is a relatively rare phenomenon, and is not something that can be predicted or expected to occur on a regular basis. It's a beautiful and unusual sight when it does occur, but it's not a regular occurrence. 7. The Earth goes through phases when seen from moon. The phases of the Earth as seen from the moon have been observed and recorded by astronauts and spacecraft that have traveled to the moon. The first human beings to witness the phases of the Earth were the crew of the Apollo 8 mission in 1968, who observed the Earth rising over the lunar horizon and photographed the iconic Earthrise image. In addition to the phases of the Earth, astronauts and spacecraft have also observed other interesting phenomena related to the Earth's appearance as seen from the moon. For example, they have observed the Earth's auroras, or northern and southern lights, which are caused by the interaction of the solar wind with the Earth's magnetic field. Astronauts have also observed the Earth's weather patterns and the changing colors of its surface, caused by the changing seasons and the movement of clouds and atmospheric gases. These observations have provided valuable insights into the Earth's climate and environment, and have helped to increase our understanding of the Earth as a complex and dynamic system. 8. An astronaut was allergic to the moon. There is a true story of an astronaut who experienced an allergic reaction to moon dust. This occurred during the Apollo 17 mission in 1972, when astronaut Harrison Smith, a geologist, became the first and only person to experience an allergic reaction to the lunar surface. Smith's allergic reaction occurred after he and his crewmate Eugene Cernan spent several hours collecting lunar samples on the surface of the moon. When they returned to the lunar module, Smith began to experience symptoms such as a runny nose, watery eyes, and sneezing. These symptoms were similar to those of a common allergic reaction on Earth. Smith's allergic reaction was caused by the fine lunar dust that covered his spacesuit, and was brought back into the lunar module. The dust, which is composed of small particles of rock and metal, is thought to have irritated Smith's mucous membranes and caused his allergic reaction. Despite the challenges posed by lunar dust and other potential allergens, the incident with Harrison Smith did not deter NASA from continuing its exploration of the moon. 9. Moon dust smells like gunpowder. Moon dust, as experienced by astronauts during lunar missions, has been described as possessing a peculiar aroma reminiscent of gunpowder. During the Apollo missions of the late 1960s and early 1970s, astronauts who walked on the lunar surface reported a distinct smell clinging to their spacesuits upon re-entering the lunar module. The odor, often likened to that of spent gunpowder or burnt matchsticks, puzzled both astronauts and researchers. The explanation for this phenomenon lies in the composition of the moon's surface. Lunar soil, or regolith, is primarily made up of fine particles of silicon dioxide, metal oxides, and other minerals. Over billions of years, this regolith has been bombarded by meteoroids, exposed to the harsh solar wind, and subjected to extreme temperature variations. The constant bombardment of micrometeoroids and cosmic radiation causes the regolith to undergo chemical changes, releasing volatile compounds into the lunar atmosphere. When astronauts disturb the surface and kick up dust, these volatile compounds are released, creating the distinct odor. Another possibility is that the smell originates from the lunar samples themselves. When brought back to the controlled environment of the lunar module or the Earth, the interaction between the lunar material and the air might trigger chemical reactions that produce the distinctive aroma. 10. How does the American flag on the moon flap without wind? The image of the American flag seemingly flapping in the wind on the moon's surface has been a source of fascination and conspiracy theories for many people. However, the truth is that the flag was not actually flapping in the wind, but was specially designed to appear as though it was. The flag was attached to a horizontal pole, which was extended out from the flagpole to give the flag a flapping appearance. The flag was also made from a lightweight material that allowed it to retain its shape and appear to be moving, even in the absence of wind. The reason for this design was to create a visually striking image of the flag on the moon's surface. The flag was one of the first things that the Apollo astronauts planted on the moon, and it was important for it to be easily visible and recognizable in the photographs and videos that were broadcast back to Earth. The moon's atmosphere is too thin to support the kind of wind that would be necessary to make a flag flap, so the flag was designed to create the appearance of movement in the stillness of the lunar environment. 11. The moon is shrinking. It's true that the moon is shrinking, but don't worry, it's a natural process that occurs over millions of years. The moon's surface is covered in cracks and fissures called wrinkles, which are the result of the moon's cooling and contracting over time. As the moon cools, its interior shrinks, causing the surface to crack and form these wrinkles. Scientists have studied the moon's wrinkles and found that they are becoming more numerous and prominent over time, indicating that the moon is still cooling and contracting. This process is gradual and does not pose any immediate danger to the moon or to Earth. The moon's shrinking is similar to the process that occurs in other celestial bodies, such as planets and asteroids. It is part of the natural evolution of these bodies, and is driven by the laws of thermodynamics. So while the moon may be shrinking, it's not something that will happen overnight. It's a slow and steady process that has been going on for billions of years, and will continue for billions more. Thanks for watching, and Alvida.